Hello, welcome back to the interface. My name's Alex and this is my infotainment walkthrough and guide for the Cupra Born for 2025. In this video, we're going to walk through everything you need to know about this infotainment screen and also the My Cupra app for iPhone at the end of the video. So first things first, much like most of the modern VW Group products at the moment, the infotainment screen is 12.9 inches in size. You'll find this in the ID3, the brand new Golf, the Tiguan, all of the very similar products that the group makes across primarily Skoda, Cupra, Seat and VW. Audi have done their own kind of thing, but that's beside the point. So if you've used any of those vehicles, you'll be very familiar with how this screen works. We've got these controls along the bottom, so the temperature, the volume, and the temperature for this side as well. And they're all haptic touch-based controls, and that extends throughout the whole cabin, as you'll find out in the main review. There is a main review live now on the channel of this exact vehicle. There's a link in the top right corner, or the description down below, where I show you what this car's like to drive, all the interior features, the boot space, exterior design, and all that sort of good stuff. In this video, as I said, we're going to have a big walkthrough, very in-depth, of everything you need to know about the screen. So as I said, first thing is a 12.9 inch display. It's all touch-based, got the haptic controls on the bottom for the volume here, so that's all pretty easy to use. It's a little bit of a faff. I wish the group would go back to using physical buttons again. That would be a nice thing, but that's kind of what we're stuck with at the moment. Very different to what VW do on this particular screen. We've got some controls along the top here, and we've got some, this is your main home screen essentially, and there is an app display as well, and your climate control section is basically always on show at the bottom, so that is going to be always there for you. You can do like things like recirculation. So at the very top left of the screen, we've got this button here, which takes you back to this main view, like your widget home screen view. These 6 dots up here take you to the main app screen, and we'll go through all of these apps in a second. This button here takes you to the vehicle settings, so quick things like driving assistance features, the status of the vehicle. So let's click the vehicle on here. We've got the vehicle settings in there as well. Again, we'll go through these bits a bit later. This shortcut button here, this will take you to your EV charging settings. So what's quite nice is that this vehicle will tell you exactly how fast it will be able to charge on DC. So you've got the charging here, optimize, schedule, tips and settings, and we'll go through those a bit later as well. And this plus button, you can swap and change what you want in that section. So they are essentially quick shortcuts, much like on your phone or on a Mac OS machine, for example. You might have shortcuts displayed around the whole place. Just pop things you want always up there. So you might want to swap the driving mode quite easily without pressing a button. You could do that. Got lighting settings. You can basically put anything up there and you can always get quick access to it. Again, it's quite nice really. So I'm going to add a third one. Let's add the heated seats. So if I click on this one here, that will take us to the seat heating automatically. That's quite a nice little feature there. This button here, this is your parking camera. So you've always got a shortcut to view the camera, regardless of what you're doing. So that's quite nice. It will turn itself on when you put the car in reverse, but at least you have a nice option there to access it whenever you need to. And you can see the parking sensors are there. I'm parked against a little tree here, so you can see it's picked up something on the top right corner of the vehicle. This button here takes you to CarPlay. This button won't be here if CarPlay is not connected. Android Auto will also be there if it is connected as well. I'm logged into this vehicle with my Cupra ID. So what we have got is my profile account up there. My phone is also connected via Bluetooth. So we have got the signal level on my phone, and you can see that is replicated between CarPlay and the car. The car itself does have a 4G connection. So you can use the My Cupra app to access the car remotely. You can unlock it. You can precondition the battery, you can see where it is, you can see how much charge it's got. And obviously to facilitate that, doesn't do it via Bluetooth. If the car's not with you, it will need some sort of data connection to make that happen. So the car does have an eSIM integrated and you can do all sorts of things with that. And then up here we have got the time as well. Let's go back to this screen here. So clicking on any of these buttons doesn't actually do anything. You have to go into the settings to do that kind of thing there. You've probably seen it jiggling around, which is quite funny. You've got the line up here. This is your control center. So more quick shortcuts are located in here. So you can see I've got a notification here that says activate battery care mode. It says press here for more information on regular charging above 80%. And that's just reminding you that you don't necessarily need to charge the car above 80% if you're just using it day to day, because that will have some sort of negative impact on the battery health over time, a very long period of time, and it also does depend on what chemistry the battery is. For example, LFP batteries can withstand more regular charging than NMC, for example. We've also got this button here, which takes you to editing preferences. We've got some shortcuts here for the lane assist, speed limit warning. So if you are driving along, you haven't got to dive into the settings and faff around with that. You can just swipe down and turn on these settings. And that's also where the auto hold button is. In this vehicle, I've noticed there isn't many physical buttons for a lot of stuff. Something that might be in the center console, like auto hold, is in the touchscreen, for example, and that just a usability thing that is different on the Cupra, really. And as I mentioned down here, we have got the climate control settings. So if I click on climate here, that does open up the main view. So if you haven't got this menu open, you'll notice that you can't adjust the fan speed from this screen. You can turn it onto auto, and that will do that for you. You can adjust the recirculation. You can adjust the temperature with these sliders here. That is fairly responsive. And you can just tap on those as well if you want to. We're going to click. And yeah, there we go. We're going to turn that down. And if you want to adjust this here, you have got some options there. You can turn on specific fans. At the moment, that is set to eco, so it isn't going to turn on the passenger side. There's some options in here for the heated steering wheel. For reference, this is the V2 version of the Cupra Born. So we have got a heated steering wheel, got heated seats and that sort of stuff. And the heated seats are configurable from there. What's weird is that the whole design language of the vehicle, it's a bit different. So you'll notice on this screen here, it's a nice flat 2D design. But when you come down to the climate option, it's a little bit 3D and a little bit skeuomorphic. A little bit strange there. Just a little decision that I guess the company's made in designing this vehicle. If you are hearing a vibration sound, sounds like the heating matrix just doing its thing. At the moment, I'm going to turn off the climate control there. Right, let's go back to the home screen here. So let's click on this button here. So this is your main home screen widget page. You've got the built-in Cupra sat-nav on this page. Got the current media, so I've got this music playing from Apple CarPlay. And then Apple CarPlay is also feeding through a shortcut to phone specific people if you want to. So I've got some contacts there. Let's click on the sat-nav first. So this is a built-in sat-nav. I personally use Apple CarPlay and Apple Maps, but a lot of people might want to use the built-in sat-nav that's on the car. Now, one thing I always want to test with an EV and their built-in sat-nav is that will it be able to auto-route for the journey you're doing? So currently I've got 227 miles of range in the vehicle, and I'm going to put a destination in the sat-nav for Aberdeen, because that is quite far away from where I am now. Click on search, and let's type in Aberdeen. There we go. Aberdeen, Scotland. We're going to press start.
Please drive to the route shown. Your route contains multiple essential charging stops.
There we go. So it is suggesting some stops here. We've got some traffic issues on the route somewhere, and potentially 2 stops, one at BP Pulse and one somewhere else. So if we click on this button here, that's not going to tell us what we want actually, but we are going to click on this button here. So it says a 290 kilowatt grid serve stop for 33 minutes, and then a BP Pulse stop somewhere else for 24 minutes. Let's click on this one here. That is Craig Lynn. Let's go show on map, and you can see what you want to do there. It's just a BP station, and there's a grid serve one. Again, same sort of thing. Let's show on map. So on the M6 somewhere. Oh, I've got pinch to zoom. There we go. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then what you'll see is on the map, you've got the dark area where you can't get to on a current charge, but the light area and the very light blue areas are sort of fringes of the range. But it's showing you what you can do there. You'll also see that there's a status of how many bays are free currently. So you've got 9 out of 11 bays free. So it's 290 kilowatt, which is perfect for this vehicle because this only charges at 165 kilowatt. Well, I say only, that's actually quite a good rate, but that is pretty good really. So that's all quite nice. In terms of other features, let's cancel this route here. So I'm quite happy with how that works. Let's click on search, and we're going to go to points of interest, so fast food. This is all very responsive. The keyboard's really nice to use. Even though I haven't got that good phone signal around here or internet signal, it is working quite well. So fast food, some other places there, some nice icons and charging stops. So that's all quite good. And McDonald's have got their own logo on there because of course they have. And yeah, that's pretty good. The design of it's slightly old. Got some 3D look here, but it is quite easy to read. So there is that aspect as well. If we look into settings, you can see that the electric vehicle route planner is turned on, and that will, as we've seen, automatically plan charging stops with route guidance active. And we can click on that here, and we can say, I've not seen this kind of thing on a sort of mainstream vehicle before. Only really on the Teslas, but the Tesla takes care of it, all of it itself really. This is quite customizable really. So if you've used ABRP, a better route planner, before, you'll know that this kind of thing is pretty standard really, but it's quite nice to see it on an inbuilt sat-nav. So you can actually customize, well, you can turn on factory charging stops when route guidance is active. You can turn that on. You can also tell it how much range you want at the destination. So, earlier I put in Aberdeen as my destination, and it will take that into effect. So if I say I want 50 miles of range on the vehicle, it will plan its stops around that sort of request. But I think 15 miles is fine. Remaining range at any charging stopovers. So if you want to get to a charging stop with 50 miles of range, and then you might, on the very, very rare chance, find that the charging station is not working for whatever reason. So you want to add a little bit of buffer into its planning process, so you can find another station if that is the problem. What you'll find nowadays is that motorway services tend to have either one or more different brands of charger. So if for any reason the GridServe ones aren't working, you might find there's a Tesla one working, which you can use any EV on, most of those now. So you might find that kind of thing is an option for you. You can also say prioritize Cupra charging for automatic charging stop planning. So there is an inbuilt charging system built into the car. So that is quite nice there. You've got more settings down here. So show range. That was that color sort of map view. So you've got the light color where the car knows it can get to. And it says automatically optimize the rapid charging. So this will precondition the battery and make sure that the car can get the most out of that charging stop. It's not waiting around for it to sort itself out. Again, if you've used an EV on motorway services before, just long journeys, you'll know that typically the car is done before you are. So you plug the car in, go to the toilet, do whatever, and you might find that the car's already done what you want it to do by the time you've not even done what you want to do in the services. So there is that thing to consider as well. All right, so that's pretty good really. Pretty good inbuilt sat-nav. I'm pretty happy with how that works. So let's go through all of these apps one by one now. So the first one we've gone through is the navigation app, which we've just looked at, and that is a pretty nice system. You've got radio and media next. So this is the all-encompassing media app. So if you want to play anything from CarPlay or Bluetooth or the radio, this is essentially where you go to. So you've got some favorites here, and these are your favorite radio stations, favorite media favorites. Got the player, so regardless of what's playing, you can control that. You can see the album artwork, you can scrub through, which is quite nice, the artist, the album name, the song as well, and you can play in pause and skip tracks if you need to as well. It will show the logo of where the source of music is coming from. So in this instance, it is Apple CarPlay. What you can do here is choose the source. It's got Bluetooth audio, you've got My Media, FM, DAB, and internet radio. Some nice options there. If we click on radio here, you've got the different radio stations you want to listen to. Let's turn that off. We've got FM DAB, FM DAB local, and then also internet radio. It doesn't look like there's any AM support on this vehicle, which is a thing I'm noticing as I'm going through these infotainment systems every so often. I've noticed that just cars don't have AM anymore for whatever reason. If that is an issue for you, then that might be a problem. Internet radio says there's no active internet connection on the vehicle to be able to use that, so that's all fine there. And we've got DAB local, Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay there. And then we've got media, so you can choose CarPlay, My Media or Bluetooth, and settings as well. So radio settings, you've got the arrow buttons on the steering wheel, and they will cycle through the stations. You've also got TP, which is traffic program, and if you've got the local radio enabled and you've got this turned on as well, It will interrupt your broadcast, so you can listen to see what's going on locally with any traffic. I'm not sure how many people use that. If you use that, let me know in the comments down below. Additional DAB announcements, radio text, station logos, automatically select station logo. You can change the region as well. So if you want to change the region you're listening to, so if you're in Ireland, for example, you want to change to Northern Ireland, you can do that quite easily. And there's also switch to a similar station if reception is poor. Also show DAB image gallery and information, and online audio quality, and you can swipe between low or high for that one there. Got the telephone, and if Apple CarPlay is connected, you can sometimes be able to use the CarPlay phone through this. But because my phone is connected, it will give me that option there, and I can dial some numbers if I want to. So, and then you can see who you've called, so that's pulled through from your phone. And there are some settings in here, so you can select a mobile telephone if you've got more than one device connected. It says you can also use USB if you want to. Voicemail numbers, contacts, and different things in there. Got Apple CarPlay, which we looked at a bit earlier, all pretty standard. It is wireless on the Cupra Born, and it does respond really quickly. You've got support for all your standard CarPlay apps. You've got ABRP, ChargePoint, there's WhatsApp and different things on there, so all quite easy to use really. And to go back to the main screen, you can click on this button, or you can click on that one. I'm going to click on that one there, and that just takes you back to the phone app, the settings for that phone on the car basically. You also got sound here, so we've got some nice options for adjusting the sound profile. This particular one I'm sat in does have the optional Sennheiser sound system. It's about £600 on top of the list price of the vehicle, and it does sound really, really good actually. Really quite impressive. There are some options in here for this sound stage, so you can say the immersion is turned on. And I noticed there is quite a big difference between this mode and that one, for example. We've got equalizer, so you can adjust the sub, which is in the boot, the bass, everything. I like to keep it on reset. And there are some options there for music, speech, or whatever that one is. Club. So you've got club mode, speech mode, or music mode, and you can turn on the immersion. So different options in there. You've got sound focus, so you can adjust where the sound focus is. You've got automatic or the whole vehicle. I'll do that. Balance fader, so center of the vehicle. And there are some settings here. So you can turn on the touchscreen tone for the infotainment system. So there's like a knocking sound. That's pretty cool. I'm going to turn that off. Tone for other controls is turned on. The enabling sound for safety interruption is turned on. The goodbye sound, so when you get out of the car, it plays like a little jingle. I quite like that. It sounds quite funky, so that's turned on as well. And there are some volume options in here as well. So you can customize the volume of the radio announcements, the volume level to how fast you're going. So the faster you go, obviously more noise enter the cabin, and you can customize how loud it's going to be to compensate for that. You can even choose how loud the car stereo is going to be when you turn on the car. So if someone has been listening to something like an audio source that's got a low volume, if you've ever come across that kind of thing before, they've whacked the volume up and then you might get back in, put the radio on, and it might deafen you immediately. So you can actually customize how loud that's going to be when you turn on the car. Reduce infotainment volume when parking. We've all come across that thing where you can't see what you're doing unless the volume's low down. So you can actually have that adjust by itself. Reduce infotainment volume when opening doors. So that's quite nice as well. So you can do that. And goodbye sound volume. Navigation announcements, so it's active, comprehensive announcements during calls or volume. Different options in there. And the voice assistant volume as well. So some different options in there. If you activate this one. In a Seat, what you do, you say holla holla, but that's not exactly how this works in here. It's just say, hey Cupra. What can you do?
Here's an overview of all the functions you can control with your voice. You can select one by saying its name or the line number.
And you'll notice whenever it's speaking to you, the light bar at the front here will sort of pulse based on the speech pattern for you. So that's quite nice there. And I think it's just been listening to what I've been saying. So let's go back. There we go. Cool. That's pretty cool there. There's some options in there for the voice assistant, some settings and that kind of good stuff there. There is a dedicated app for it, which we'll go through in a second. Vehicle settings. So this is pretty comprehensive. A lot of vehicles now especially with the advancement in infotainment screens and how customizable it can be. A lot of vehicles are now adding in a lot of this customization, so you can change a lot of stuff on the vehicle. Obviously, some cars are better at it than others, but this is pretty customizable, really. So the first one is driver assist, and we've got parking assistance, smart assistance, and driver alerts. Let's go through the parking one first. So this will basically help you park. So you've got park distance control, park assist or trailer assist, and it will give you a hand with acoustic and visual warnings if there's any obstacles around the vehicle. There's also smart assistance, which is the ESC, so the traction control, auto hold, and lane assist. You can turn all these on and off if you want to. ACC, which is automatic cruise control. This particular version, the V2, doesn't have the auto steering on the motorway, so it won't kind of keep you in lane automatically like most systems, but it will do the distance control, speed limit, and that sort of stuff. It's quite clever, really. And there are some options in here, so you can say speed limit response, which is quite good. Last distance selected, information about that, so it tells you exactly what it does, and the road layout response as well. Auto hold and assist, and then front assist. So got some information in here. It tells you exactly what this feature does, which is quite handy. Display distance warning, swerve support, and oncoming vehicle braking when turning. If we go back here, speed limiter. So let's have a look in here. So speed limiter helps to not exceed the speed limit. So yeah, basically that kind of thing in there, and you can turn that on and off if you want to. And lastly is eco assistance. So this will provide adjust the speed according to the driving conditions once you lift your foot off the accelerator pedal, and that is, I think, turned on. Yep. Driver alerts, so you've got speed warning on and off, and I found, I mentioned this in the main review as well, but I found the grace period this car gives you is actually quite helpful. So it might give you a 3 or 4 mile an hour grace period over the speed limit. So a lot of cars now, they just instantly warn you whenever you go 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, and I found this car doesn't actually do that. It gives you some sort of buffer, which is quite nice, because you might be going downhill, enter a new speed, there might be a 5 or 7, 10 seconds or something where you're going slightly over the speed limit, but it's not an issue really, and you're just slowing down. So I think that's fine, and that's quite a nice sort of ease of life feature, because it can get quite irritating when you're going 1 mile an hour over and it does kind of bong you for that kind of thing. Drowsiness monitor, so there is a system watching you to make sure that you're not yawning, you're not looking tired, so that's quite good there. And also the attention monitor, make sure you're looking at the road, and I've had that go off a few times, even when checking the screen briefly, so it can be a little bit sensitive, but I think it's just trying to keep you safe. Got the vehicle here, so you've got a nice 3D view of the vehicle, and you can control certain things. The VW Group likes to do this, and this kind of represents the vehicle I'm in. This car doesn't have the gold wheels, but it does have no sunroof, it is right-hand drive, and it is that colour, so that's quite nice. Got some headlights here, so switch on time is late, so you can choose between early, medium or late. Automatic headlight control in rain, and also the convenience turn signal. Comfort light, so when you get to the vehicle, it will keep the lights on for 10 seconds, and also when you leave the vehicle, it keep the lights on as well. Mirrors, so you can synchronously adjust those. You can lower the tilt in reverse gear, and also fold in when locking. Nice feature there. Some tyre settings, so you can tell it you've got certain winter tyres on, and you can do a speed limit warning for that, because some winter tyres don't want to go over a certain speed. And you've got the TPLI, or the tyre pressure loss indicator, and you can set that whenever you replace a tyre or something along those lines, so it recalibrates itself. If you swipe round here, we've got the brake settings, so ESC is on, that's the traction control, and you can go ahead and turn that off. It is in sport mode. Always ask when neutral is engaged, deactivate now, and auto hold as well. And the window settings here, convenience opening on all windows or just driver, and opening or closing. So it says interior monitoring is turned on, and when you unlock the doors on the remote, you can either have it unlock the driver's door, a single door, or the vehicle side, or all of those doors. And that's back to the they've got wiper settings as well. So wipe automatically in rain, it's got some rain sensors on this vehicle. Rear window wiping in reverse gear, and wipers in service position. Some good options in there. And that's pretty much the start. In the interior, we've got a nice little view there. Heads-up display settings, so you can turn that on or off. And I found whenever I've driven VW Group products before, the heads-up display is really, really good, really customizable. You can move content around. It will have a augmented reality setup, which is on at the moment, and that when you get close to a junction, it will put an arrow quite big to say, "Look, mate, it's down there," and it will give you sort of a hint of where to go, and it's quite good, really. So the augmented reality feature's turned on. Got the brightness, which there's not a massive difference between 0 and 100, but you definitely want 100 because that's a lot easier to see actually now. Position and demo mode. So there is a demo mode here, and I will put this on screen, and you can sort of see. You can move that around, and that's quite handy there. That's quite clever, and you can tilt the whole thing around. So you can set the color scheme. So you've got snow mode, which is all blue, or you've got standard, and you've got close range content. So driver assist, navigation, road signs, driver assist to ACC. You've got lane assist there, all quite handy really. Instrument cluster. So you've got the reset, all the trip details. You've got interior lighting, so you can choose how bright everything is. Most of it isn't actually that bright, but there's a lot of ambient lighting around the whole interior. Got smart light, which is a thing on the dash. That's an optional extra. It's about £200 to £300 in the UK, and you can choose how bright that is, and you can see, it gives you some sort of animation in there to how bright that thing is, and it tells you what it does. So pulsing and standby, charging, fault indication, restricted performance, and navigation as well. So if you are using the built-in sat nav, it will actually give you some sort of alert on when to move. So quite handy really. That's pretty much it for the interior. You've got the status, so you've got the service and the tyres. Let's click on service. So it tells you that a service is due in 648 days. This vehicle's only done about 1,000 miles. It's very, very new really, so it's not due for a service just yet. And tyres. Please check all 4 tyre pressures when the tyres are cold and set the required values. Then press set. So all quite easy to use there. We've got driving data, so I'm just sat in stationary, hence why it's a little bit strange on the results there. But it says 46 minutes of driving, 12 mile an hour average, 9 miles driven, and 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. Long term, which is since I've had the vehicle, I've done 7.5 hours of driving, 275 miles. I'm getting 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. Really, really impressive stuff there. And then since charging, it's the same sort of stuff there. Right, let's go back to the charging app now. So charging, so this tells you a lot of information about the efficiency on the vehicle, how fast it can charge, when to charge, that sort of good stuff there. So current battery status is 83%. I've got 205 miles of range. If I put the vehicle in long range mode, I've got 206 miles of range. And it says maximum charge recommended. Let's click on I. It says recommended maximum charge for preserving the battery service life is 80%. And you can change that if you want to there. So you can say you got there, or you can put up to 100 if you want to as well. Optimize, so it says currently that the battery can charge at 46 kilowatt DC, and then you can start the battery heating if you are going to be public charging the vehicle to get a better charging performance. It's good that you can do that manually actually. And you've got a schedule, so you can change a charging schedule based on your current location. Got some tips here, so it tells you exactly what all the lights do. Got a schedule and functionalities, lots of nice information in there. And settings, you've got battery care mode is turned on or off, and electric vehicle route plan is turned on. Alternating current charging, relevant charging schedule settings will be used for your set charging schedule. Reduce charging power in alternating current or AC, and then release alternating current cable when charging process ends. I would recommend to have this turned off because if you are publicly charging somewhere, someone might steal your cable. It's possible that when the car end gets unlocked, the charging station end might get unlocked as well. And these charging cables aren't cheap, so you might want to do that. So there is that option there. You will just have to unlock it on the blipper, the key, to release the charging cable. That's just my personal recommendation. I don't know if anyone else has had their charging cable stolen. I personally haven't, but it's something just to bear in mind. We've got the drive profile, so there are some different driver modes on the Cupra Born. We've got range, comfort, performance, Cupra mode, which is like a sport mode, and then individual where you can just customize everything you want to do. And there's some information here. So driving profile for optimizing consumption and increasing vehicle autonomy. This vehicle component setting provides smooth acceleration and limits propulsion and air conditioning. That's the range mode. Cupra mode gives you the best performance for exciting, agile and precise driving. That's the Cupra mode. Performance mode. It's a sporty, dynamic, provides harder steering and a more direct response. And then in comfort mode, it's optimal comfort, so that's all good there. So I will discuss these driving modes in the main review, which is a link down below for that. And then individual, you can customize how you want everything set up. So you've got engine, you have the engine in Cupra mode, the steering in comfort mode, air conditioning in comfort mode as well. So you can just have that all set up nicely how you want it. So it's quite good there. Let's go back to the main screen here. We've got the lighting setup, which we looked at something similar a bit earlier, but there are some different profiles. So you can turn the lighting off. You've got liquid, which is all blue, pulse or yellow. There's different customizations here, all quite good there. And the smart light, which is the main screen thing there. Settings. So this is a bit different to the driving or the vehicle settings because this is all the system stuff like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the screen. So look at the screen. So you can customize the show clock in standby mode, rear passenger detection tone, enabling sound for safety interruption, touchscreen tone, and tone for other controls. You've got network here, you've got Wi-Fi, so you can connect the whole car to a Wi-Fi network to download updates and do that sort of stuff. Or you can use the car if the SIM is set up as a hotspot for your phone. And there's some quick connection options here, so you can scan that QR code. Information, so system information. This will all be very similar to the Volkswagen updates. So do it, updates available. And copyright, so it will say, yeah, Volkswagen, Skoda and Seat. Different options in there, all pretty good there. Configuration wizard. Let's go back to settings here. And tutorial, so tell you how to use the screen. Cupra Assistant, which we looked at a bit earlier. So you can ask it certain things. Let's say, hey Cupra, how far can I still go?
Based on your current consumption, you can still drive 206 miles.
There we go. Let's have a look down. Yeah, so it says natural speech recognition. There's no need for set phrases. Simply tell the Cupra Assistant what you want. Cancel activation word. There's a push or talk button on the steering wheel, and you give it to interrupt the assistant as well. So that's all quite good there. Let's go back here. Got users. So my account, my Cupra account is set up with this vehicle, and as I said, we'll go through the app at the end of the video. You can resynchronize this with your account. You've got other here, so you've got some other users here, so you can add certain users if you wanted to the vehicle. And you've got login details, so you've got an S pin which I'm going to disable, which it won't let me do. Information about primary user, so it says my name and when I last connected to the car. That's about 5 days ago. Privacy settings, you've got things you can turn on and off, and you can delete the active user. You've got the help page, which is a online manual essentially. This is your manual here. So yeah, it's a nice interactive way to go through the manual. Stationary air conditioning, so you can turn it on and off if you want to. It's basically preconditioning the battery. Automatic window heating as well, which is quite nice. Seats, so there's a separate app for the seat controls. You've got ventilation. Actually, that's just heating. So no ventilated seats on this one, just heated seats. App updates, so you can choose to have certain things updated. Let's have a quick look in here. So it says no app updates are available. You've got different versions in here. So whenever certain things are actually updated, and you've got a legal notice and settings. Store, so this might not load, but you can activate certain things. Let's see what happens here. So you can activate Cupra Connect Plus, which it is actually activated, and that means you can control the car through the app. So that is activated until 2028. No idea what happens after 2028, but yeah, that is that option there. Legal notice, which we looked at something very similar a bit earlier. All pretty normal stuff in there. We've got maintenance. So it says online vehicle maintenance, and this helps you plan and keep an eye on different appointments. So let's have a quick look. We'll accept all the terms here. Let's scroll to the bottom. So it says an inspection is due in 648 days. You've got different requests you can make here. You've got a legal notice. Let's do contact workshop. So it says scan the QR code and you can contact them that way if you want to. We've also got a charging map. So this is kind of similar to the main sat nav, but it will tell you where all the charging stations are. You've got charging locations. You've got a map here. So this is set to Germany for whatever reason. So it hasn't actually, doesn't actually know where we are. So I could accept that. It should tell us where we are now. There we go. So if we zoom out here, let's have a quick look at where certain things are. Let's do search. And it's found some different charging stations near where I am, all quite handy. And lastly, you've got software ID. So your vehicle software ID is, and it should tell you what it is, it's 5.4, and there's a legal notice as well. So this is the Cupra app for the Cupra Born. It's called the My Cupra app. So refresh this, gives you the live status of the vehicle. 206 miles of range, 82%. There's a nice picture of the car as well, and exactly what the colour is, and the alloys that came with the car. Got the engine off, or the ignition's off basically. The car's unlocked. If I lock the car here and then refresh the app, should update immediately of what the car's been doing. Not quite. There you go, vehicle locked. Doors and lights, says safe. Everything's turned off, everything's locked. Says battery not ready, and you can charge immediately and get it to pre-ignition itself. Got some air conditioning options in here, so you can turn that on and off if you want to, and pre-condition that as well. Vehicle status is inactive. It says the odometer, 996 miles, and an inspection is due in 650 days. You can choose a service partner, so you can get that to work, and book appointments and that sort of thing. Got some care products. You got plug and charge, which is a certificate-based system for charging automatically on Ionity chargers, Octopus chargers, and that sort of stuff, and you can turn that on if you want to. Cupra charging, which is their charging plan, charging cards, and you can sign up for that service if you want to. I'll put some links in the description for what that is. Vehicle permissions, you've got some options in there, and you've got a map, so it tells you where the car is in real time and where you are in relation to the car. Got the tribe, which is their sort of membership thing. Like I did get this to work the other day, but there are some events in here you can sign up for, like tickets and things. Got the store here, so you can sign up for a data plan on the car. Got some care products in here as well. Let's have a look here. Cupra care plans and different things like that. And also your profile. So you've got my email address here, my name. You can customize your account. You can change your S PIN, set a Face ID, a password on there, change the units and that sort of stuff in there as well. Preferred service partners, and you can log out or edit your profile. So that's been a look at the infotainment system and the My Cupra app for the Cupra Born. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe to Interface Cars. My name's Alex, and I'll see you again next time.